Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another Crimecast. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the room. You guys know the deal. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, then please give me a thumbs down or an angry face in the chat, all right? Shout out to everybody who is here. The early birds, we got my man U-Law in the house. Good to see you, bro. All right, so we are going to get into it, all right? This is what we got up front right here, a cold case, all right? St. Clair County man arrested in the 1980s cold case, all right? So what happened here was a 70-year-old Fort Garriott man has been arrested in a 43-year-old St. Clair County murder case. Douglas Laming was arraigned on Sunday for felony murder charges in connection with the murder of Karen Humphrey, all right? Humphrey, who was 21 years old at the time, was found dead at the State Game Arena in Beards Hill on November 2nd, 1980. Thanks to advancements in DNA testing, the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office worked with Michigan State Police and Othram, a forensic genetic genealogy company, in solving the case. Now, here's what I'm curious about. I wonder if this particular case, I wonder if they actually prosecuted somebody for this, because as all of these cold cases come back and they find the actual person who committed the crime, usually there's somebody in jail who is already serving a sentence that they don't have any business serving. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says St. Clair County Sheriff's Office detectives spoke to many people that were connected to the victim and suspect over 40 years ago, gathering information and making vital connections. The diligence of investigators and utilization of scientific advancements, including those used by MSP Forensic Science Laboratories and Othram, were integral to the identification of Karen Humphrey's killer, the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office said in a release. Laming is due back in court on December 22nd for a probable cause conference. So this dude thought that he had got away with it, but thanks to advancements in science, he didn't. All right. So now what we have here is a situation that took place in everybody's favorite city, in Chicago. Now, this is a case of what we talked about a lot about a year or two ago. And what that is people who call the police, and as a result of them themselves calling the police, end up getting deleted by the police. Now, you got to ask yourself the question, how does that happen? Well, we're going to take a look at it and see, all right? New body camera footage shows Elk Grove Village man deleted by police after calling 911 on himself. So how many of y'all think that this dude thought that he was going to end up biting the dust after he called the police on himself? You know what I'm saying? How many times have we seen that happen where a family member or the individual themselves calls the police on themselves or calls the police on a family member, and then the police ends up deleting that person? That's the situation that we got here. An Elk Grove man fatally shot by police on December 1st called 911 himself to warn that he planned to, quote unquote, hurt someone, according to recordings released on Monday. So now what that sounds like is the start of a mental health issue. If you guys feel that what this sounds like is that this individual was probably having a mental health breakdown, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't sound like that, then give me a thumbs down. Now, here's the question. How many times have we read about situations like this, and these police departments just continue to say, we're going to work on this, we're going to improve this, we're going to change these type of situations, these things aren't going to happen as much. We hear about this all the time, and instead of ever hearing about a positive change, what we hear about are more people biting the dust. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says officers came to Fern Drive after receiving a 911 call from Jack Murray, who was age 24. They also received a call from a neighbor who reported seeing Murray exit the house with a knife. Murray was shot at least 4 times by Elk Grove Village police officers in a confrontation nearby. He was pronounced dead at Ascension Alexian Brothers Hospital. 3 officers were present when Murray was shot. The 3 officers who were present when Murray was shot were placed on administrative leave the same day. Okay. Murray was known to Elk Grove officers, footage shows, including one who responded on the scene. Elk Grove Village Mayor Craig Johnson released partial body camera footage Monday, as well as partial recordings of calls between a 911 dispatcher, Murray, and Murray's father. The officer who shot Murray has not been identified, and officers were not identified in the footage. So now here's my question for you guys. Why do you all think that they're not releasing the information about these police officers? And shout out to Sybil and shout out to David Brown. What's good with y'all? What do you guys think about that? Why do you guys think that they're not releasing any information about these officers? Antonio Raminucci, whose firm has been representing the Murray family, alleged Monday that body camera footage released by the Elk Grove Village Police Department had been edited to favor the officers. Now, let me ask you guys this. We always ask the question why it is that anytime they release the body camera footage, why it is that the body camera footage is always redacted. Why is it that when this body cam footage is released, why don't they just ever release the entire unedited version of the body cam footage? They shouldn't be allowed to do that, if you ask me. If you ask me, they should have to release the body cam footage completely unedited. I don't understand why the police gets to release the parts that they want to release and withhold the parts that they want to withhold. To me, that doesn't make any sense. That actually defeats the purpose, if you ask me. What was released is an edited movie, Raminucci said Monday, meant to confuse viewers about the legality of what officers are required to do to de-escalate a situation like this with a clearly emotionally distressed person. So 9 times out of 10, if a person calls the police and says they're going to hurt somebody, that in many cases actually is a mental health issue, and that is a sign of a mental health issue. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing is that when there's legit signs of a mental health issue, it seems like in most cases the police always end up deleting the person. But when there's not legitimate signs of a mental health issue, the police always make excuses for those people, or the court seems to always find them not guilty. You guys notice that? If you guys notice that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not notice that, then give me a thumbs down. I think that those people need to be called to task on that. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says, because they have to remove evidence. Yeah, facts. I agree with that 100%. David says they can't because they're scandalous. I agree. They shouldn't have that right. Yeah, that's facts. Carlton said, I saw a body cam video that was edited and they photoshopped a gun onto the video. Bro, I've seen them Photoshop guns onto videos. That's facts. I've seen them Photoshop evidence onto videos. I've seen them do all kinds of editing to try to exonerate the police officers. You know what I'm saying? Portions of the second officer's body camera footage were excluded, Raminucci said, including conversation between Murray and the officer and actual footage of the lethal shot. On the day he died, Murray was physically injured, emotionally distressed, confused, slurring, and not okay, Raminucci said in a statement on Monday. In the first of the 911 calls released Monday, Murray is heard telling the dispatcher someone in the house has a knife, then identifies himself as the armed individual. He's going to hurt someone, Murray tells the dispatcher. So now a lot of times you got this going on. This dude is talking in third person, called the police on himself, and is talking to the police as if he's somebody else. This right here is a sign that there's some type of delusion or some type of hallucination going on. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Murray's father, who was also in the house, told the dispatcher that Murray was possibly intoxicated and that his family was trying to get him to go to the hospital after allegedly breaking his foot the night before. Do you need help, Jack? Murray's father is heard saying, "It's okay if you do. You called 911 for a reason." Murray's father follows him outside and pleads with him to put the knife down, the footage shows. He's not violent right now, Murray's father is heard saying. The footage shows police cars parking down the street from Murray's house. A group of at least 4 officers emerge from the car and begin discussing Murray. Officers are heard yelling, "Put your hands up, Jack," several times. "He's going to get himself tased," one of the officers is heard saying. The police released footage displays text saying the officers deployed a taser twice on Murray as he continued towards them. Officers instructed Murray to turn around as he approached, the video shows. Murray had turned to face the officers who were still yelling for him to put the knife down when several shots could be heard. As Murray is on the ground, officers yell, "Shots fired," and one officer instructs another to place Murray in handcuffs. Officers can be heard repeatedly asking where the knife is as Murray lays on the ground. Officers are shown attempting CPR. Police released a photo of the knife Murray was holding, saying it was 11 to 12 inches long. Lawyers for the family are challenging the speed with which the officers switched to lethal force, as well as their choice to not deploy a beanbag gun one of the officers were carrying. Now, here's my question for you guys. Why do you all think that they wouldn't have deployed the beanbag? If they had the beanbag to deploy, why would they have chosen not to do that? Why would they have chosen not to deploy the beanbag? That's kind of weird. Johnson first shared details from the body camera footage at a December 12 village board meeting. Lawyers for the family alleged Johnson declined to meet with the family before describing the footage to village leadership. Johnson denied this on Monday. Officers involved in the shooting had previously received crisis intervention team training, mental health training, and de-escalation training, Johnson said on Monday. The village plans to release a full cut of body and dashboard camera footage in the future, Johnson said. He said it could be months before an internal investigation is complete. Murray had type 1 diabetes and was aware of the impact on his physical and mental health, his aunt Liz Belcaster said at an emotional news conference on December 4th. He had a years-long history of becoming erratic when his insulin levels were low and had called Elk Grove police in the past when he needed help. He knew there was times when he needed help quickly, and he believed the police could help him as they had in the past, Belcaster said. We don't know what took place on Friday afternoon, but we know our family deserves answers. Okay, so now there's that. So probably the police will get away with deleting somebody again, and they'll have to go to some training classes and nothing will happen. But, when you're the police and you have a license to delete people, that's how it ends up going. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Denise. What's good with it, Denise? That's how it ends up going. You know what I'm saying? So now we have a man who's charged with a narcotics investigation in St. Clair County, and this is in Michigan. All right. So my question for you guys is, does this individual look like he's part of a cartel? That's going to be the ongoing question. Because remember, the cartel and the undocumented bros are the main reason why them folks are dropping dead because of fentanyl. Remember that, right? That's what they said. That's what they say on the news all the time, right? So we're gonna see if that's the case. Cameron Redlowsk, who is 43, was arraigned on several charges following a narcotics investigation. The St. Clair County Drug Task Force investigated the sale of hallucinogenic mushrooms in the 1100 block of Pearl Street on December 12th. The team executed a search warrant during the investigation. Redlock was taken into custody, authorities said. During the search, the following was seized: 3 pounds of psilocybin mushrooms, LSD, analogs, Suboxone strips, a pill press, money, a handgun, scale, and packaging. That's a lot. That should be a couple years of a sentence right there. As if there's a scale present with all them drugs, that's an automatic attachment of intention to distribute. You know what I'm saying? That's an automatic attachment of intention to distribute. Plus, they had the pill press. That's manufacturing. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Redlock was arraigned on December 15th on the following charges: delivery, manufacture of ecstasy. That's what he had the pill press for. Delivery, manufacture of narcotics, felony firearm, creation, delivery of an analog, possession of a firearm by a felon, possession of ammunition by a felon, maintaining a drug house. He is being held on $100,000 bond. Now, what's interesting about this is that I didn't see any distribution charges. They found the scale there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that scale should have automatically caused that to be a distribution charge. So if you guys happen to ever look that case up and you guys see what that suspect looks like, you'll know why they took it easy on him. Now, check this out. Macomb County Sheriff. There was 3 women who were arrested for human trafficking. Okay. We're going to talk about them real quick. This is them, I believe, right here. So let's check this out.
An alleged human trafficking ring in Macomb County is now out of business.
It was allegedly run out of a massage parlor and even a Detroit casino.
CBS News Detroit's Gino Vici is on your block in Mount Clemens with more on the arrests.
The investigation began last year from a tip the Macomb County Sheriff Department received about women being solicited for sex online. Their investigation uncovered a human trafficking and prostitution ring run out of massage parlors in 6 different cities and 4.
Now, what community do y'all think was involved in this right here? Let me know in the comment section. Shout out to Jacoby. What's good with it? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and share the stream. Carlton said AAPI. Denise said AAPI. So to everybody else that's in the comment section, if you guys think that it was the AAPI community who was behind this, give us that thumbs up. If y'all don't, give us a thumbs down and let us know who y'all think that it was.
4 different counties.
During the course of this investigation, a total of 42 search warrants were completed to aid in the investigation.
Macomb County Sheriff Anthony Wickersham says these 3 women were arrested for running a prostitution and human trafficking ring.
There you go. There you go. Throw some flames in the chat for Carlton and Denise. They got it. Zhao Hang Ban, Shay Young Ding, and Lori Kai. There it is right there. Those would be your women who were running this massage parlor / human trafficking ring. The model minority. Clearly modeling the organized crime element of the dominant society.
Ring out of massage parlors and homes across Metro Detroit. The sheriff says women were offered for sex online. Many of them had no transportation and were shuffled between massage parlors in Livonia, Shelby Township, Mount Clemens, and Fraser.
The first individual was Lori C., 31 years old. Second suspect was Shu Ling Ding, 41 years old. And the third suspect was Shonhung Ban.
Investigators with the Computer Sex Crimes Unit at the Macomb County Sheriff's Department were given a tip last year that led to more than a dozen arrests and these women being taken into custody. So far, no indication any minors were involved.
Thankfully, to this point, we have found that no children were involved at this time. However, as Sheriff Wickersham stated, this is still an ongoing investigation.
These crimes are generally committed by way of the internet, as the sheriff has indicated. as well as in regards to one.
Hey, those names are wild, ain't they? Oh, them names are off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Very ethnic, to say the least.
They become friendly or trusted from the internet, then the human trafficking starts.
And that, according to Macomb County Prosecutor Peter Lucido, means that there are computers and other devices that have been seized during the investigation. And that means there could be many more arrests in this case.
Hey, hold on real quick. Look at this. Zhao Hong Bang. This one right here, the very first lady, you know she was the boss. Which one do y'all think was the boss? If you ask me, the very first lady on the left, Zhao Hong Bang, she was definitely the boss. She would be cussing their asses out, making sure that all that human trafficking get done properly. You know what I'm saying? On that type shit. And then and if they wasn't moving fast enough, she would be pushing them, driving the car all crazy. She was definitely the boss.
This case, Sheriff Wickersham says this could be just the beginning.
So there's still a lot to do.
The sheriff says some of the money from this prostitution ring was sent back to China. And because this human trafficking ring was coordinated online and many more devices are being reviewed right now, it could lead to many more arrests in this case. In Macomb County, Gino Vici, CBS News, Detroit.
Now, what I find interesting is that in certain situations with this human trafficking, they'll have a lineup of suspects, right? Like they'll have the madams. But like what's interesting about it though, yeah, facts. Shout out to my man Win Loser Rug. But what's interesting about it though is that when it comes to the high profile clientele, somehow that information never comes out. It never comes out. It never comes out. Now, I want to tell everybody happy Mother's Day. And the reason why is because we're going to talk about this mother today. We're going to talk about this mother today. Records raise new questions about Alameda County's response to toddler fentanyl death. Christopher Fiera is the third Bay Area child to die from a fentanyl overdose since May. Now, here's my question. How does a child die of a fentanyl overdose? This woman ought to be ashamed of herself, this poor little innocent child, being hers, unfortunately, suffering a death at the hand of his mother, the person that you're supposed to trust the most as a kid. Like I said, it irks my soul when kids get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Sophia Gail Samvera was arrested on suspicion of murder after her 23-month-old son, Christopher Fiera, died of a suspected fentanyl overdose in Fremont, California. Can you imagine how scared that poor kid probably was? Couldn't breathe, didn't know what was happening. 23 months old, can't even talk. Just 2 days after 23-month-old Christopher Fiera died of a suspected fentanyl overdose, an Alameda County social worker recommended keeping his 3 young siblings in the care of his mother, despite police just having found tinfoil, baggie, and other drug paraphernalia in their house. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. That social worker needs to be in trouble. I'm going to read this to y'all again so that y'all get the full magnitude of this. Just 2 days after 23-month-old Christopher Fiera died of a suspected fentanyl overdose, an Alameda County social worker recommended keeping his 3 young siblings in the care of his mother, despite police having just found tinfoil, baggies, and other drug paraphernalia in their house. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you all would have recommended to keep the children in the care of a mother after you just found all of that at the house? If you would recommend that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would not recommend that, give me a thumbs down. I wouldn't recommend that. If I just found that kind of stuff on a person, I'm not recommending that they continue to care for children. Sorry, I'm just not. Why would the police recommend it then? In fact, for reasons that remain unclear, Christopher's death, look at this, Christopher's death wasn't even noted in a social worker's initial assessment of the home, according to new records obtained by this news organization. So how did they just miss out on that? How did they just miss that? We just happened to miss the fact that, you know, a child died in the custody as a result of drugs. We just missed that. Not until 3 weeks later, on November 7th, when the news of the toddler's fatal overdose became public and Fremont police announced the arrest of his mother on suspicion of murder, did social workers file a new assessment acknowledging the toddler's death and recommending the other children in the home be placed in the county's care. But prior to that, though, it wasn't a big deal. Prior to that, it wasn't even acknowledged. It's just one of the troubling inconveniences revealed in social workers' records regarding Christopher that raise questions about the county's handling of child welfare cases, particularly amid an opiate epidemic that has deleted 3 Bay Area children younger than 2 in the last 6 months, including Christopher. So basically, what's been going on is that more than 1 child per month has been dying as a result of parents and their fentanyl fix. You don't leave kids in the home when there's a child death, said Paula Rode, a licensed social worker who frequently testifies in court as an expert witness in child abuse cases. The goal is to preserve families and keep families together. But when there is a child's death, that's kind of like game over. Well, the goal should not be to keep families together. The goal should be to keep the child safe. That's what the goal should be. Sometimes the family being together is what ends up causing people to be harmed. With the proliferation of fentanyl, an opiate 50 times more potent than heroin, the stakes for children exposed to drugs have never been higher. In Santa Clara County, the deaths of 3-month-old Phoenix Castro and 19-month-old Winter Rayo resulted in felony charges against their parents and a reckoning for the county's Department of Family and Children's Services, with supervisors calling a hearing December 19th to review social workers' policies. In Alameda County, the issues with social workers' response to alleged abuse date back even further. In 2015, county social workers failed to remove 3-year-old Mariah Mustafa from her foster care home after an overdose, resulting in her death 2 weeks later when she once again ingested methamphetamine. Now, my question is, why are these social workers not getting in trouble for these child deaths? If you're sitting up here making stupid mistakes like this, and these children are, dying as a result, shouldn't there be some type of consequence to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore? Wouldn't that be the thought process behind that? In another case, an investigation by this news organization into the 2022 death of 8-year-old Sophia Mason found that social workers were alerted 7 times to her abuse, but often declined to adequately intervene. The 29 pages of documents released in Christopher's case contain numerous redactions and omissions that make a thorough reading of his file nearly impossible. Also, not related were call logs, investigation summaries, and narratives filed by child abuse call screeners, all of which are typically found in a child's case file. This is either the most inadequate social work I've ever seen, or the county is ambitiously hiding from the public what actually happened in this case by concealing the documents that by law they're supposed to provide, said Ed Howard, a senior counsel with the University of San Diego School of Law's Children Advocacy Institute, who co-wrote the law mandating disclosure in child death cases. Christopher's grandmother, Vienna Vera, also voiced concerns about whether better communication on the part of police officers, as well as between social workers and the children they're tasked with protecting, could have saved Christopher's life. Now, here's my question. What do you all think? If you guys think that that's true, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. Social workers need to just talk with the kids, said Vera, who is 44, adding that family members can only do so much. Exactly how Christopher got his hands on the stash of fentanyl that allegedly belonged to his mother, Sophia Galeston Vera, remains a mystery. I don't think that it's a mystery. I think that his mother probably let it out, and 23-month-old, that's like the beginning of the terrible twos. So the kid was probably into everything. You know how them little young kids be going around, little toddlers just be walking around, plopping around like a little Oompa Loompa, talking about that, and then slapping everything. He probably got his hands on it. And those kids at that age, they still like to put stuff in their mouth. He probably put it in his mouth. And his mom was probably high as a damn kite somewhere, laid up. You know what I'm saying? And now because of that, this poor kid is not able to, complete his life. It got cut short early. Police suspect his mother used fentanyl the night of October 17th. There you go. Went to sleep in her bedroom along with her boyfriend, Frank Avina, as well as Christopher and her 4-year-old son. Within the hours of the boy's death in the following morning, Fremont police searched the home and found cut straws, tinfoil, and empty baggies, some of which later tested positive for fentanyl, according to court records. Investigators also found messages the mother sent to her boyfriend asking him to clean the room. Just 2 days after Christopher's death, an Alameda County social worker checked a box in an October 20 assessment suggesting the physical conditions of the home are hazardous and immediately threatening to the health and safety of the child, according to the newly obtained documents. Still, in a move that dumbfounded child welfare experts, the social worker recommended leaving Christopher's siblings in the home with a safety plan, the records show. Now, here's my question. What did they think was going to happen if they left the kid in the home? Anybody that has a lick of common sense knows what is going to happen in that situation. After briefly living with their grandparents, the child returned home from late October until Galeston Vera's arrest on November 7th, Vera said. Alameda County social workers only reversed course November 7th when Galeston Vera was arrested and police announced the boy's death. A subsequent assessment that day struck a different tone, noting a child death due to fentanyl in their system and deeming the house unsafe. The account directly contradicts a statement to this newspaper by DCFS spokeswoman Sylvia Selbut, who said the siblings, quote unquote, were never placed back into their mother's home. So the DCFS lied to the newspaper. They lied. They wanted to try to cover their own selves up. There is no indication that Galeston Vera's other children were harmed during the period they remained with their mother. Galeston Vera was later charged with involuntary manslaughter, along with felony child abuse and 2 drug-related misdemeanors. She was held Sunday morning at the Santa Rita jail and has been cleared by a judge to join a residential treatment program while facing the charges. Now, here's my question. How do y'all feel about these residential treatment programs? I'm not the biggest fan. Not gonna lie to you, I'm not the biggest fan of these residential treatment programs. You know what I'm saying? The suggestion that Galeston Vera had been using fentanyl came as a complete surprise to Vera, who described her daughter as a doting and loving mother who did little but care for her 4 children, 2 of whom have significant medical challenges that require near constant attention. She really didn't spend time outside of the house with her friends or didn't really do anything but be with her kids, Vera said. At times it would be concerning because I'm like, Sophia, you need a little bit of outside life. I can watch the kids. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I just want to be home with my kids. Christopher was the youngest of 4 children in a house that his mother and siblings shared with their maternal great-grandfather. Court records show the home was frequented by the police for the later part of the toddler's life. Now, here's my question, y'all. Why do y'all think that the house was frequented by the police for the later part of the toddler's life? I'm going to tell you guys what I think happened. I think that this woman probably was a decent woman at one time. She probably got involved with that boyfriend because for whatever reason, a lot of women seem to be really attracted to drug-addicted man children. She started laying up with him, started developing his habits, started using drugs with him, started putting the drugs above the safety of her family, and now she doesn't have one of the members of her family, and now she's separated from the family. That is what I think happened. You know what I'm saying? Officers responded to a domestic violence call there in August of 2022 involving the boy's father, court records show. A few months later, in December of 2022, officers returned to arrest the mother's new boyfriend, Frank Avina, on a felony weapons charge after officers suspected he owned a revolver while on probation. They arrested Avina another time in June of 2023 following a rooftop chase that began at the house and ended with him in jail on another weapons charge. So yeah, she like bad boys. She like bad boys. Anybody surprised? Who's surprised that this woman here chose some dick over her children? Not me. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is not because she's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because all women aren't like that. But the women that are like that, they're very predictable. The same way that guys that do stupid shit are very predictable. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make that clear. When I say that, I'm not making that statement about all women because all women do not choose degenerates. All women do not conduct their business like that. But the ones who do conduct their business like that are very predictable. And these kind of outcomes occur quite often. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, DeAndre. Welcome to the stream, DeAndre. DeAndre said, Rob been streaming like a mug lately. When you find time to sleep for your regular job? You already know, bro. You already know your boy Rob got that time management. Your boy Rob got that time management. You know what I'm saying? Got to hit y'all with that good content. You know what I'm saying? Throughout it all, Amita DCFS records show that the agency received a lone report of suspected child abuse at the house in November of 2022. In that case, social workers took months to complete a basic assessment determining whether Christopher should remain in the home, though such assessments are normally due within 48 hours of the social worker's initial contact with the child. At bare minimum, the paperwork delays suggested social workers did not take the November 2022 assessment seriously, Rhodes said. Now, I don't like this, man. The social workers here, they are supposed to keep the children safe. They're supposed to be doing a thorough assessment to make sure that no harm comes the way of the children. And that includes if they have to break the family up, well, then they just got to break the family up. Like, that's just what's got to happen. You know what I'm saying? You really need to keep things as timely and current as possible, said Rode, who spent 2 decades as a social worker and supervisor with Orange County's child welfare system. It's really simple to do. There's no reason not to get it done. When you're not doing that until months later, what really is the quality of your investigation? Vera herself questioned why the police never asked social workers to visit the home after Avina's arrest in December of 2022 and June of 2023. And Vera complained that social workers never formally interviewed Christopher's surviving siblings in the weeks immediately following his death. DCFS did not respond to multiple follow-up messages by this newspaper seeking comment. Alameda County Council and County Administrator also did not reply to a message seeking an update on an independent investigation into DCFS, which was prompted by Sophia Mason's case and authorized by the Board of Supervisors in May. Howard expressed astonishment at the county's stonewalling, particularly when compared to actions taken by officials in Santa Clara, where County Executive James Williams acknowledged in an interview with the Bay Area News Group that officials, quote unquote, dropped the ball by not removing Phoenix from her father's care before her death. The response so far in Alameda County is indicative of the fact that the children who are dying simply don't have political juice, Howard said. I can assure you that the County Board of Supervisors will be far more ambitious in protecting the lives of children if these children were not dying in secret. This is a damn shame. And Alameda County Job and Family Services ought to be ashamed of them damn selves. And this poor child, Christopher Fira's mother, may she rot in jail. May she rot in jail. You know what I'm saying? So next, what we got is an article about 9 individuals who have been indicted on gang, drug, and murder charges. All right. Now, what this is this is a situation that went down in Maryland. A gang called the 1800 Boys. How many people are familiar with the 1800 Boys? If you ever heard of them, give me a thumbs up. If you have not heard of them, then give me a thumbs down. Yep, that last article, that was in your hood, bro, in Alameda County, California. Yep. Yeah, she do look like Wednesday from the Addams Family, don't she? David said maybe she threw it back and they let her slide. Probably. So now here it says 9 men indicted on gang, drug, and murder charges. Police searching for additional suspects. 9 Baltimore men were indicted for participating in a criminal gang and operating an open-air drug market. One of those men responsible for the November 2022 homicide of Marquise Carter of Baltimore. Maryland Attorney General Anthony G. Brown announced the indictments Monday for their participation in a criminal gang that operated throughout Baltimore City, distributing drugs and carrying out violent acts. Indictments include counts for participating in a criminal gang, distribution of narcotics, illegal possession of firearms, and firearm drug trafficking, and acts of violence, including murder. The defendants are Keontae Moore, Davonta Mackey, Daquan Battle, Jawan Jordan, DeMarvin Singletary, Brandon Ledbetter, Carlos Jordan, Darrell White, Theodore Easton. Over the course of the 9 months, an investigation led by the Attorney General's Organized Crime Unit, the Drug Enforcement Administration's High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Group 54, and the Baltimore City Police Department's Homicide Squad revealed that a criminal enterprise known as the 1800 Boys operated throughout Baltimore City, including in the 1800 block of Wilkins Avenue, where they maintained an open-air drug market. So I'm assuming this 1800 block is where they got their name of 1800 Boys from, okay? The organization facilitated the sale of various narcotics to undercover officers, including but not limited to heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine. Detectives observed the organization distributing narcotics daily and participating in thousands of apparent hand-to-hand narcotics transactions over the course of the investigation. Through the use of undercover officers, detectives also discovered that the organization was distributing large amounts of narcotics at a time for resale. The 1800 Boys organization is also responsible for acts of violence to maintain their drug operation, specifically the murder of Marquise Carter, okay? On November 3rd of 2022, Davonta Mackey, who worked as a street-level distributor for the organization, shot Carter multiple times near the organization's open-air drug market. On November 5th of 2022, Mackey was found at a stash location used by the organization and arrested by police for Carter's murder. Detectives learned that Mackey shot the victim following a dispute over the organization's drug territory to prevent Carter from selling narcotics there. The defendants exerted control over their territory through acts of violence, including the murder of Marquise Carter and the continued possession of firearms while they were present in the area distributing narcotics, as well as additional stash locations. As a result of search warrants, detectives recovered 3 handguns, 1 assault-style rifle, over 700 grams of fentanyl and heroin mixture, over 300 grams of cocaine, and over 400 grams of marijuana, and $6,730. Now, here go my question. How much money do y'all think that the police really found? Because you know, if the police had cash on hand at that crime scene, they stole some of the cash. You already know they did. So how much money do y'all think that they really had? If you ask me, they probably had about $10,000, $15,000. You know what I'm saying? They probably had about $10,000 to $15,000 on the scene. And the police probably snatched up a good half of it and split it up. You know what I'm saying? Though these are invaluable partnerships, and with access to additional resources, we can continue to target the organized crime, drug trafficking, and gun violence that cause so much suffering in our communities, said Attorney General Brown in a news release. Those who perpetuate illicit activity and commit violent criminal acts in our community will be held accountable. Actually, they're not. Because why is it that they always get to street level drug dealers and they never find the plug? You guys ever notice that? How many times do y'all ever hear about the plug getting arrested? The plug never gets arrested, but the police is always willing to put some street level people on display. Now, my question is, how come the plug never gets hit? One of the reasons why you ask me that the plug never gets hit is because of the goofy relationship between the dumbass criminals and the corrupt ass police. The police get back pay from the plug. You know what I'm saying? The police, for the most part, are always on the take. You know what I'm saying? And the criminals have a code of no snitching that actually protects the plug. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't do crime right, that's what happens. And you guys remember some of the earliest episodes on Crimecast was going over the facts that a lot of criminals don't even commit crime right. You know what I'm saying? Detectives are seeking the whereabouts of Jawan Jordan, who is currently a fugitive. Jordan is a black male with black hair and brown eyes, weighing approximately 275 pounds and standing 6'4". Anyone with information is asked to contact Baltimore police. Callers can remain anonymous. All right. So since then, they've caught that individual. I think they've pretty much wrapped this up with these 1,800 boys. Okay. Let me see. Let me just see something here. Yeah. So they, for the most part, have wrapped this up. Now, these were old articles, right? Those two, or that one article that I just read, is an article from way back in February. All right. Now, since then, some new developments have occurred, and we're gonna take a look at those new developments right now. Okay. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. If you guys haven't hit the bell, please make sure you guys take a moment, hit that bell. Also, if you guys haven't shared the stream, please share the stream to your social media. What we got here is a press release from Maryland Attorney General Office. All right. Now, this is an old press release. This is from November 15th of 2023. Okay. Attorney General Brown announces conviction of 2 Baltimore men on criminal charges and fentanyl distribution charges. Maryland Attorney General Anthony G. Brown today announced the plea and sentencing of Marvin Singletary, Keontae Moore, both of Baltimore, Maryland, on charges of participation in a criminal organization and distribution of fentanyl. These charges relate to a long-term investigation into a criminal enterprise that was operating and distributing large quantities of heroin and fentanyl in Southwest Baltimore. On October 18th of 2023, Singletary and Moore each pled guilty before the Judge Robert Taylor Jr. of the Circuit Court for Baltimore City, because, I just don't call dishonorable people honorable, in participation in a criminal organization and distribution of fentanyl. Moore received a sentence of 10 years, suspending all but 10 months with 3 years of supervised probation. On February 25th of 2024, Singletary will be sentenced to 7 years of active incarceration. The investigation was led by Attorney General's Organized Crime Unit, the Drug Enforcement Administration's High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Group 54, and the Baltimore City Police Department's Homicide and Undercover Squads. Over the course of a 9-month investigation, law enforcement built a case on a criminal enterprise known as the 1800 Boys that operated throughout Baltimore City, including the 1800 block of Wilkins Avenue, where it maintained an open-air drug market. The organization engaged in the illegal sale of various narcotics, including heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine. Investigators observed the organization members distributing narcotics daily, participating in thousands of apparent hand-to-hand narcotic transactions over the course of several months. Investigators further discovered that the organization was distributing bulk amounts of narcotics for resale by other drug trafficking organizations. Okay. The 1800 Boys organization was also responsible for acts of violence and perpetrated to maintain and further its narcotics operation, including the murder of Marquise Carter. On November 3rd of 2022, Davonta Mackey, who worked as a street-level distributor, so we already read, they basically took this press release and put this into the news report. So this is the one from November, so we don't have to go through this. All right. Now, this is the updated one. This one here was just updated on December 18th of 2023. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre says that's by design. They want to keep the prisons full. If they get the plug, won't be no drug for street hustlers, then no one to arrest. Facts. And not to mention, a lot of times the plug has political ties. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the plug is a donor to the police department, a friend of the mayor. Plugs tend to be very well connected politically. So they kind of look past what they're doing. A third defendant in the 1800 Boys organization investigation, convicted for supervising a criminal organization selling fentanyl in Southwest Baltimore. Maryland Attorney General Anthony G. Brown today announced the plea and sentencing of Carlos Jordan, who is 33, of Baltimore, Maryland, on charges of supervising a criminal organization, possessing a firearm in relation to a drug trafficking crime, and acting as a volume dealer of fentanyl. So now let me ask y'all this question. When they say acting as a volume dealer, what does that mean? Shout out to Black Spider. What's good with it? What is a volume dealer? The charges relate to a long-term investigation into a criminal enterprise that was operating and distributing large quantities of heroin and fentanyl in Southwest Baltimore. On December 5th of 2023, Jordan pleaded guilty before Baltimore City Council Court Judge Yolanda Tanner. Jordan received a total sentence, get this, of 30 years, suspending all but 15 years, with the first 10 years to be served without the possibility of parole, to be followed by 5 years of supervised probation. Now, that's for distributing the drugs. That's for distributing the drugs. That's a lot of time, don't y'all think? That's a lot of time. The investigation was led by the Attorney General's Organized Crime Unit, the Drug Enforcement Administration's High Intensity Trafficking Area Group 54, and the Baltimore City Police Department's Homicide and Undercover Squads. Over the course of a 9-month investigation, law enforcement built up a case on a criminal enterprise known as the 1800 Boys that operated throughout Baltimore City. All right. So now they continue and they basically say the same thing that they said in those news reports. But the update here is that this individual here, Carlos Jordan, has pleaded guilty and been sentenced. So that right there concludes the operation of the 1800 Boys. Okay. That concludes the operation of the 1800 Boys. And that concludes Crimecast. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all of you all who came through and watched. If you watch on the replay, please make sure you type replay gang and let us know. If you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, please make sure you guys smash that like button, hit the bell. I appreciate each and every one of you all who were here. Make sure you got the notifications hit so that you don't miss any content. Make sure that you join the Discord. If you guys see crime stories that you think would be interesting to discuss or follow, make sure y'all get them to me. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on money, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that face. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey.